Thompson's in the driving seat here, but watch Seville on the near side. It's ever so close. Seville from...
The 2025 World Championships in Tokyo took an unexpected turn in the 100-meter final. Oblique Seville, a 24-year-old Jamaican sprinter, outpaced defending champion Noah Lyles to claim gold in a stunning performance. Despite being seen as a contender but not the favorite, Seville powered through the final meters, leaving Lyles in the competition behind. This victory marked Seville's first World Championship gold, with a personal best of 9.77 seconds, confirming his arrival as a rising star in sprinting.
Because right here in Tokyo and at the stadium, I think I started my debut, and you have to understand that my legacy is a new legacy for me, knowing that I came back at the same place.
Seville's triumph not only represented a personal achievement, but also the emergence of a new generation in Jamaican sprinting ready to carry the torch after Usain Bolt. His victory was especially meaningful considering his struggles, injuries, and setbacks, including a disappointing performance at the 2024 Olympics. But in Tokyo, Seville proved that he was no longer just a contender, he was a champion. Before the final in Tokyo, much of the talk surrounding the 100-meter race focused on the familiar names: Noah Lyles, the world and Olympic champion, and Kishane Thompson, the Jamaican sprinter who had narrowly missed out on Olympic gold the previous year. Thompson had clocked the fastest time in the world in the lead-up to the championships, and Lyles, despite battling injuries, was a strong favorite to defend his title. Seville, however, was often overlooked in the conversation surrounding the gold medal. Lyles had come into the season with high expectations, but struggled with an injury that had disrupted his training schedule. By the time the World Championships arrived, he was still shaking off the rust, knowing he wasn't at his peak. Thompson, on the other hand, had been in excellent form and appeared poised to claim his first global title. But as the race unfolded, it was Seville who emerged as the surprise contender. Seville had often been on the periphery of the top-tier sprinters, but his journey to Tokyo had been nothing short of extraordinary. The Jamaican sprinter had dealt with setbacks, including a series of fourth-place finishes at the 2022 and 2023 World Championships, where he narrowly missed out on a medal each time. His most painful defeat came in Budapest in 2023, when he clocked 9.88 seconds, only to finish fourth behind the medalists. At the 2024 Olympics, Seville had looked poised for a medal after running the fastest semi-final time, but suffered a hamstring injury that ruined his chances in the final. In the days leading up to the final, the conversation around the 100-meter race had focused mostly on Lyles and Thompson. However, as the race unfolded, it was Seville who emerged as the surprise contender. When the gun went off, Thompson blasted out of the blocks with his signature quick start, while Lyles wasn't far behind. Seville, however, remained calm and controlled. He held his form and stuck to his race strategy, pacing himself as the other competitors fought for the lead. By the time the final 30 meters arrived, Seville found another gear. The Jamaican sprinter surged forward, his stride lengthening with each step. Thompson, who had been leading for most of the race, began to tire and lose form, while Seville powered through to pass him in the final meters. Lyles, unable to close the gap, crossed the line in third, securing the bronze in 9.89 seconds. Seville's time of 9.77 seconds was not only a personal best, but also a stunning display of the talent that had long been waiting to break through. The Tokyo crowd erupted in disbelief, not just because of the time, but because of the sheer magnitude of the moment. The sprinter, who had often been overshadowed by the likes of Lyles and Thompson, had just outpaced them both, claiming the gold medal and solidifying his place in sprinting history. Seville's journey to the top of the sprinting world was anything but easy. After his disheartening performance at the 2024 Olympics, where he had run the fastest semi-final time but was unable to finish in the final due to injury, many began to question whether Seville could live up to his potential. But Seville, known for his resilience and mental strength, didn't let his past setbacks define him. Instead, he used them as fuel to push himself harder. Before the 2025 World Championships, Seville had spent months refining his technique, particularly his ability to finish strong in the final meters of the race, an area where he had often faltered. His confidence grew as the season progressed, and he started posting faster times, including a 9.82-second victory at the Racers Grand Prix in Kingston earlier that year, where he edged out Lyles. In Tokyo, Seville's performance was a culmination of everything he had worked for. In an emotional post-race interview, he reflected on his journey and how far he had come. Finishing strong in the last 30 meters had been a problem during the season, but now I have perfected it, and I was confident that if I could do it in the final, I would win, Seville said. His ability to remain calm under pressure, combined with his physical prowess, made all the difference in the final. Seville's victory was significant not only because it marked his first World Championship gold medal, but also because it brought the title back to Jamaica for the first time since Usain Bolt's victory in 2016. Bolt, who had retired from competitive sprinting in 2017, was present in the stands in Tokyo, cheering on his fellow Jamaican sprinter. Seville's win served as a symbolic passing of the torch as the next generation of Jamaican sprinters took center stage. "It was a pleasure to have Usain watching me," Seville said with a smile. "His coach is my coach, and I know they are both very proud of me right now. They were telling me I was going to be the world champion, and I've proved in front of him that I am." For Seville, this victory was about more than just the gold medal. It was about proving to himself and the world that he belonged at the top. After years of battling injuries and disappointments, Seville had finally shown that he had the mental and physical strength to be the world's best. And with his performance in Tokyo, he had silenced any doubts about his ability to compete with the best. With his win in Tokyo, Seville has firmly established himself as one of the top sprinters in the world. But what's next for the Jamaican sprinter? Now that Seville has secured his place in history, the question remains: can he continue to improve and push the boundaries of his speed? At just 24 years old, Seville has plenty of time to refine his technique and develop further. The rivalry between Seville and Lyles is likely to continue for years to come, with both athletes now in their prime. Seville's victory has proven that he can compete at the highest level, and it's clear that Lyles, despite his setbacks, will always be a formidable opponent. As Seville continues to grow, there's no telling how fast he can go. For now, Seville can bask in the glory of his hard-earned victory, knowing that his place among the world's elite sprinters is secure. And as for the future of Jamaican sprinting, it's in safe hands. Seville's win in Tokyo has ensured that Jamaica's legacy in sprinting will continue for years to come. Oblique Seville's performance on the world's biggest stage proved that he has the ability, the confidence, and the drive to be the fastest man in the world. The world is now watching as Seville continues to write his story.
Still being obviously 17 and 18 at the end of this year, it's definitely crazy. Like I've had people, like their grandparents, come up to me wanting photos, and people as little as 2-3 years old. I've had a baby. Her mother wanted me to sign her forehead. I was like, that's pretty crazy.
Every generation has its prodigy, but once in a while, someone comes along who doesn't just break records, they reshape the very idea of what's possible. This is one of those stories. At just 17 years old, Gout Gout has taken the track and field world by storm. In a sport where legends are built over decades, he's already shattered records that have stood for more than half a century. While most teenagers are just figuring life out, Gout is racing towards something far bigger than medals or fame. He's chasing what he calls aura, an energy, a presence, a legacy. He's gone from unknown schoolboy to the name on every commentator's lips. But behind the spotlight lies a story of struggle, survival, and unshakable focus. From the dusty soccer fields of Ipswich to the fastest tracks in Europe, this is the rise of the South Sudanese kid who might just become one of the greatest sprinters of all time. Gout Gout was born on December 29, 2007 in Ipswich, Queensland, Australia. His parents, Monica and Bona, had escaped the chaos of civil war in South Sudan. Their journey took them through Egypt, eventually leading them to the safety and promise of Australia. The family name was meant to be Gout, but a mistranslation changed it to Gout.
His name is Gout. It's supposed to be G-U-O-T. When I see people call Gout Gout, I'm not really happy for it.
A word often associated with illness became the name of one of the most electrifying young athletes in modern sports. Rather than running from it, Gout owned it. That name, once a mistake, would soon become famous. Growing up as one of 7 siblings, competition came naturally. But even among his brothers and sisters, Gout's energy was different, focused, determined, quietly intense. His father recalls how Gout would spend hours sprinting barefoot across the backyard, mimicking runners he saw on TV. Speed wasn't just something he had, it was something he loved. As a child, he was known to challenge kids twice his age to races and win. Teachers at school quickly noticed his athleticism during recess. Coaches took him under their wing, realizing this wasn't just a fast kid, this was a future star. Before sprinting, Gout played soccer, fast, almost too fast. Coaches couldn't ignore how easily he outran the ball. Something clicked. He belonged on the track. At just 14, Gout stunned the athletics community by running the 100 meters in 10.57 seconds. That wasn't just fast, it was elite, even by international youth standards. The headlines started, the scouts noticed, and the race to stardom quietly began. His progress wasn't just natural, it was rapid. In training, he would often stay behind after sessions, watching film of himself running. He would study his form, ask questions, and make adjustments. The kid wasn't just gifted, he was obsessed with getting better. In 2023, at age 15, Gout broke Australia's under-18 200-meter record with a time of 20.87 seconds. A year later, in March 2024, he ran a personal best of 10.29 in the 100 meters, winning the Queensland Championships. In April, he took home the U20 national title. By August, he claimed a silver medal at the World U20 Championships in Peru, clocking 20.60 seconds in the 200 meters. Then came November 2024. In the heats of the 200 meters at the Queensland All-Schools Championships, Gout ran 20.29, an Oceanian U20 record. That made him the fastest Australian in the event since 1993. Later, he ran 10.04 in a wind-assisted 100-meter heat, followed by a legal 10.17 to break the national U18 record. But the real headline? The 200-meter final. Gout crossed the line in 20.04 seconds, breaking a 56-year-old national record held by Peter Norman and topping Usain Bolt's best at the same age. His competitors were stunned. Commentators called it the arrival of a new era. While juggling Year 12 classes at Ipswich Grammar School, Gout signed a professional deal with Adidas in October 2024. He began training with Olympic medalist Noah Lyles and coach Lance Brauman, joining an elite circle of sprinters. In June 2025, Gout made his senior international debut at the Golden Spike meet in Ostrava. Racing against seasoned pros, he didn't flinch. Instead, he won, clocking 20.02 seconds and breaking his own national record once again. One race, one victory, one national record, all in his first meet abroad. He's now part of a carefully managed progression toward the 2032 Brisbane Olympics. His team is already planning race strategy, sponsorship deals, and training programs 8 years in advance. For a 17-year-old, this level of career planning is unheard of, but Gout is not your typical teenager. Gout's progression isn't just about natural speed. It's about how he trains, thinks, and adapts. While other young stars burn out, he's growing more dangerous with each season. He doesn't just want to win, he wants to dominate. In April 2025, he ran a wind-assisted 19.84 in Perth, fastest by anyone that year. These times didn't just shock fans, they stunned veterans. Even Usain Bolt took notice, offering words of praise and caution. Bolt said transitioning from junior talent to global champion takes more than speed. It takes vision, the right team, and unbreakable discipline. Gout listened. Despite being one of the youngest names on the circuit, Gout's maturity stands out. He stays grounded, humble, and focused on long-term success. He still attends school, still finishes homework, still trains like he hasn't achieved anything yet. When asked about the pressure of breaking historic records at such a young age, he responds with clarity. I felt literally free. I had 80 meters left to go, and I thought, let's send it. It's not about showing off. It's about leveling up. His coaches say he has one of the most unique mindsets they've ever seen in a teenager. Calm under pressure, unbothered by hype, locked in. And his fans, they're growing by the day. Young kids in Australia now show up to meets with his name on their shirts. Social media floods with highlights of his races. He's becoming more than an athlete. He's becoming a movement. It's what separates sprinters from legends. When he races, it's not just about winning. It's about feeling unstoppable, about pushing past limits most people don't even dream of. He's not trying to be the next Bolt, he's carving his own lane. The numbers say it all. Gout Gout is the fastest 200-meter sprinter in history for his age. He holds Australia's under-18 and under-20 records. He's medaled on the world stage, and he's already competing and winning against elite senior athletes. But the scariest part? He's only just begun. With the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo on the horizon, the world is finally waking up to his potential. He's not just a rising star. He's a serious threat. He's also aiming for the 2032 Olympics, which will be held in his home country, and by then, he won't just be a participant, he could be the favorite. And beyond the Olympics, Gout has spoken about using his platform to inspire kids in refugee communities around the world. He wants them to know that they don't have to be limited by where they start. It's where they finish that counts. Gout Gout's journey is more than a track story. It's a blueprint for greatness. Born to parents who escaped war, raised in a new land, transformed from a misnamed child into a record-breaking sprinter. He's not just addicted to aura, he's redefining what it means to have it. And if you think this is where the story ends, think again. Because Gout Gout isn't chasing the finish line. He's chasing forever.
He's in the driving seat here, but watch Seville on the near side. It's ever so close. Seville from Thompson.
In Tokyo, with nearly 60,000 fans on their feet and the greatest sprinter ever watching from the stands, this 24-year-old Jamaican just rewrote sprint history in the most dramatic way possible. But before we get to the main event, let's talk about who everyone expected to win. Noah Lyles, the defending world champion and fresh off his Olympic gold from Paris, was feeling confident. Really confident. He told reporters he was in the best form of his entire life. Then there's Kishane Thompson, the Olympic silver medalist who had been absolutely flying this season. His time of 9.75 seconds was the fastest anyone had run in 10 years. And then there was Oblique Seville. At just 5 feet 7 inches tall, he's a full 10 inches shorter than Jamaica's sprint legend Usain Bolt. Most people weren't talking about him as a serious gold medal threat. He was the guy who always seemed to choke when it mattered most. 2 straight fourth-place finishes at World Championships. Last place in the Olympic final just a year ago. But sometimes the quiet ones surprise you. What made this night even more special was who was watching from the VIP box. Usain Bolt himself had been paraded around the stadium earlier, and now he was sitting in the stands, about to watch the first global 100-meter final since his retirement. The connection between Bolt and Seville runs deeper than just representing Jamaica. Seville trains under Glenn Mills, the same coach who guided Bolt to 8 Olympic gold medals. When Seville was just 10 years old, he told his mother he wanted to be trained by Bolt's coach. That dream came true, and now, years later, he was about to race for the biggest prize in sprinting with his hero watching. Jamaica hadn't won a global men's 100-meter title since Bolt's victory at the 2016 Olympics. That's 9 long years of waiting. The pressure on this new generation of Jamaican sprinters was immense. Could anyone fill those massive shoes? For Seville, this journey to the starting line hadn't been easy. At the end of 2018, his father passed away from a suspected heart attack. His dad had been his biggest supporter, his first fan. Seville later said his father never got to see his true talent, and that loss has stayed with him every day since. The last conversation they had was about track and field, with his father telling him to just go out there and do it, because he could. That motivation carried Seville through years of heartbreak on the track. In 2022, he ran the fastest time in the semifinals at Worlds, then finished 4th in the final. In 2023, same story. 4th place again, this time losing a medal by just 0.004 of a second. The 2024 Olympics in Paris were supposed to be his breakthrough moment. He ran the fastest semifinal time, looked ready to finally cash in on his potential, then disaster struck. He injured his hamstring in the final and finished dead last. People started to wonder if Seville just couldn't handle the pressure of big moments. But something changed in 2025. He started beating Noah Lyles head-to-head, first in London, then again in Lausanne. Track expert Donovan Bailey said Seville had owned Lyles all year. Maybe this was finally his time. The semifinals in Tokyo told us everything we needed to know about what kind of final we were in for. All 8 men who made it through had to run under 10 seconds just to qualify. The 3 fastest, Kenny Bednarek, Thompson, and Seville, were separated by just 1/100th of a second. But it was Seville's reaction after winning his heat that caught everyone's attention. As he crossed the line in 9.86 seconds, he raised his finger to his lips in a quiet gesture. He was ready to silence all the doubters. The final was set, but drama struck before the race even began. Letsile Tebogo, the Olympic 200-meter champion from Botswana, jumped the gun and was disqualified.